Yo yo yo, welcome back all you losers to another video. Today, I will be tearing this sorry excuse for a YouTuber down. I will explain in 3 easy to digest parts why NAPPA Rants is hot garbage, and why you shouldn't watch his channel. Here's a list that describes what each part will consist of. With that out of the way, let's dive right into part number 1, shall we? Part number 1. His terrible videos. So, what kind of content should you expect from NAPPA Rants? Well, if it wasn't glaringly obvious by the channel's name, a fully grown man in his late 20s impersonates a cartoon character named NAPPA, and rants on mostly Dragon Ball Super related content because he is desperate for views. And if you don't believe me, just take a look at his YouTube page. Over half of his videos are Dragon Ball Super related. What a sad pathetic sight I see right here. This man can't create original content that doesn't involve the name of Dragon Ball. Tragic. Now then, I shall dissect just a few of these videos so that you can understand just how truly awful his content is. The videos I'll dissect are, DBS Kefla is trash. Chi-Chi is stupid. And how the Tournament of Power should have been written. Buckle your seatbelts folks, because this is going to be a wild ride. The first thing that I already see wrong with this video is within the title. If he even watched the show in the first place, he should know that Kefla isn't trash because she easily shit on Goku in Super Saiyan God and Super Saiyan Blue with Kaioken stacked on top of it with relatively no trouble. So obviously, she is not trash if she can tussle with one of the greatest warriors in the universe in 2 of his strongest forms and not have much difficulty fighting him, but let's watch the video to see why she is supposedly trash.
Hey Vegeta! What does a scouter say about her power level? It's over 9,000!
Wow, such originality, starting off your video with an "it's over 9,000" joke. My dude, are you serious?
This is a creature comprised of 2 inexperienced Super Saiyans that were toyed with by a low-class piece of trash Kakarot! These 2 inexperienced Super Saiyan 2s are keeping up with Kakarot!
Whoa whoa whoa, hold on a second, didn't you just say that Kale and Caulifla were toyed with by a low-class piece of trash Kakarot? Then a few seconds later you say that they're keeping up with him in Super Saiyan God. Well, I don't know about you, but in the fight with SSG Goku, SSJ2 Caulifla, and SS Berserk Kale, it didn't seem like Goku was having too much trouble against them. In fact, it looked like he was, as you said earlier, toying with them, so I don't really understand what you're trying to say.
Vegeta! How did they turn Super Saiyan? A tingly feeling in her back! A tingly feeling in their back? Well heck, I had a tingly feeling once! And guess what? It died! You don't see me going Super Saiyan!
Wow, for real? What a lame, unfunny, and unoriginal joke. Everyone already knows that the back tingle to go Super Saiyan stunt is retarded. It's a joke that's been done to death by so many other people. Do you see what I'm talking about here folks? This man stoops to making jokes that everyone else has already made so that he can get those views from his simple-minded viewers, thus ensuring that his channel lives on so that he can make even more unoriginal Dragon Ball content.
When these trash fuse, they make Kakarot shiver and scare him. I've never seen Kakarot shaking so much. Why is he shaking? He's Super Saiyan Red. He battled with Beerus. And on top of that, Super Saiyan Red moved so fast that he couldn't even control it and went flying past Beerus. Is Kefla stronger than a being that can wreck a universe by clashing with Beerus?
Of course a fusion of Kale and Caulifla has that kind of power. It's called female empowerment, you sexist pig. Kefla shit on God Goku so easily because Dragon Ball needed more female representation in the franchise since it is only the men who are super powerful. So not only is your content unoriginal, you're also sexist too. I can't believe this travesty. Why are you still allowed to make YouTube videos? This is tragic, simply, tragic.
What kind of scummy low-class garbage writes a character this bad?
The same kind of trash that wrote the jokes for your video. Anyways, the rest of this video is just him rambling on about how Kefla shouldn't be stronger than other characters in Super while also being unfunny, so for your sake, I'll skip to the next video. I can already tell this video is going to be terrible as well, so let's just dive straight in.
Hey Vegeta! What does a scouter say about this Earth woman? She makes her kids study hard! Huh, well, what's wrong with that? The kid's a Saiyan! What? Wait! Let me get this straight. You mean to tell me that this woman has a Saiyan for a kid, but she makes him study like a human? Woman, are you stupid? Are you actually this stupid? The kid's a Saiyan!
Actually, you dumb, Gohan is half Earthling, half Saiyan. So it's perfectly reasonable for him to study hard because he is half Earthling. Your point only works if Gohan was a fully blooded Saiyan.
The kid has enough power in him to blow up an entire galaxy! And with that, he has enough power to get anything he wants in the entire galaxy! Universe even! And you want him to waste his time reading books? Are you stupid, woman?
Well, think about it from her perspective. This is her son. Her little baby boy, and knowing that Goku faces constant danger that could get him killed on a regularly basis, she does not want to subject Gohan to that kind of lifestyle because it could mean getting him killed. And what's one of the worst things that could possibly happen to a woman? Besides the amount of unfunny jokes you could make in the comment section, it's knowing that their little baby boy was killed because they weren't there to protect them.
Why do you think I bought Gohan textbooks and study tapes? I even got him a Learn While You Sleep kit so he doesn't fall behind. Do you want our only son to grow up to be a muscle-bound thug? You can go, but Gohan stays here. I don't want our son growing up without an education the way his father did! Is that so wrong? Absolutely not! No way! And that's final!
But are you trying to tell me that Gohan's studies are more important than saving the Earth?
That's right, mister!
Shut up! Just shut up!
Well, that's enough of this video. The rest is just him whining about how Gohan isn't being a badass anymore. This video was the most promising in concept, but don't worry, it's still hot garbage.
It's over 9,000!
What the fuck was that?
The Universe 7 team is absolutely ridiculous!
What's so ridiculous about letting Krillin, Tien, and Frieza being included in the Universe 7 roster? I agree with you about Master Roshi being a ridiculous choice, but the others are fine. You'd be an idiot if you think that they'd allow Majin Buu in the Tournament of Power. But then again, I am dealing with NAPPA Rants here, so I guess I shouldn't be surprised.
Why didn't you bring me back?
Because NAPPA is irrelevant. Only a small group of people actually like NAPPA, and when compared to the entirety of the Dragon Ball fandom, all of these characters are way more popular than you, which was the purpose of the Tournament of Power whether you like it or not. To pit Universe 7's most popular characters against a bunch of the other universe's fighters. Just accept it, kid, you're irrelevant.
The tournament rules are stupid and get broken anyway! Fights happen one by one in a battle royale mashup mess of 80 fighters! Where time seems to stop for everyone else! When we are watching one battle at a time! You've created a mess for yourself!
Agreed. Congratulations, you finally said something reasonable. Would you like a cookie?
I pay money to watch this every week! I work hard every single day, and I rest on a Sunday! I don't want to watch fairies! I don't want to watch the transformation sequence! And I don't want to watch it twice in the same episode!
Oh yeah, well guess what buddy, I didn't want to see the Goku vs Frieza fight last over 18 episodes, but I had the patience to get through it. Add that to the list of problems with your channel for me, why don't you?
Because in this video, I'm gonna teach you how you should have written the Tournament of Power, you money-grabbing bums!
Oh boy, here we go. I'm literally shaking with excitement.
Okay, first of all, the Universe 7 team! Scrap your idea! Take this instead! Kakarot, Vegeta, Pickle Rick, Son of a Monkey, Skinny Play-Doh, RoboCop, Safari Edition, Mecha Barbie, Fallout Terminator, and finally, Mini Kakarot and Trunks!
Well would you look at that, desperate and unoriginal jokes that aren't even funny in the slightest. Imagine my shock. Also, let's take a look at his roster selection for a moment. Obviously, most of these fighters make sense to put in the tournament, but 16 and Buu should not be in the roster. Firstly, replacing Frieza with Android 16 is a bad move. It'd make more sense to keep Frieza in the roster because he's way more powerful than Android 16, and would be way more useful around the later parts of the tournament when the other universe's more powerful fighters pop up because of his new transformation that is on par or close enough to SSB Goku. Secondly, Buu is way too overpowered to keep in the roster. He is practically indestructible due to his amazing regeneration abilities, can learn people's techniques after only seeing them once, can rip pieces of himself off in order to incapacitate fighters so that he can push them off the ring with ease, can turn his foes or pieces of the stage into anything he wants to, etc. Put simply, any kind of tension in the tournament would be non-existent if Buu was added in the roster unless Toppo or Jiren entered the ring, because let's be honest, those two are the only real threats. If anything, I would have chosen Krillin to replace Buu since Krillin is the next strongest person to Buu who isn't overpowered, thus keeping the tension intact.
I'm only complaining about one major rule. No killing. By enforcing this moronic, stupid rule, you've taken away the character's survival and killer instincts.
That's simply absurd. They can just adapt to this rule. They are all warriors after all. And if you think about it, what's the point of allowing killing if they're just going to erase the losing team's universe anyway?
Who is writing this series? Who is writing the story? I want to know. I want to know your name, because you suck.
Oh dear lord, I think you seriously need to calm down there, man. I understand that your channel name is NAPPA Rants, but Jesus Christ, calm down a little. There's no need to make such a horrible insult like that to someone who writes for this anime. That's another thing to add to the list of why you're a terrible YouTuber.
Okay, now for the tournament itself. This is where you take notes and learn something. All teams sit on the side bench, and they have to select one fighter at a time to release onto the fighting stage. So at first, there will be 8 fighters on stage. When the battle begins, the 8 fighters on stage, they have 8 to 10 minutes to survive in the ring and stay alive. Once 8 minutes pass, the next set of 8 fighters, they jump into the ring. If no one died in the first set, then now there would be 16 fighters in the ring, all fighting at once. Each universe can decide in which order they want to send out the fighters, but they have to do it before. They have to have finalized their decisions before the tournament begins. This way, you cut out the BS.
No complaints here.
I don't care about anime, but this series should have the best animators, the best storytellers, the best that money can buy.
Well, unfortunately, the world doesn't revolve around you, so stop setting your expectations so high. I'll skip ahead to when he continues to talk about his changes to the tournament since he rambles on for a bit about the overall decisions for Super.
I'm gonna rewrite the story myself! Watch! Okay, to start, I would have Piccolo be the first fighter. I would have Kakarot planned to be the 5th fighter to enter the ring. And Vegeta, he's gonna step in last. Now look at the multitude of benefits by doing it this way. Instead of 80 fighters all at once, there are now 8. This keeps the battle under the writer's control. The people who are not doing anything like Vegeta, like how you had Vegeta in this tournament, he wasn't doing anything until the end. I saved him on the bench, behind a time limit. Now, the writers could concentrate on the relevant fighters, the ones who are in the ring.
Bro, what are you saying? Vegeta must go 9th because Goku must always be saved for last so that he can show Vegeta up because that's how Dragon Ball works. Are you daft?
Now for the classic Dragon Ball Z style. Whoever are the first 4 fighters to enter the ring at their time intervals, they could help each other with teamwork in a gradual, progressive way. They could tag team, they could cooperate, they could combine attacks. They will struggle together to stay alive. Having the characters come in at intervals, it creates a continuous stream of excitement.
No, it doesn't. The only time things are ever exciting in Dragon Ball is when Goku shows up. Can you please get that through your thick skull?
Look, people, if you're still here, if you're still with me, if you're understanding the feels I'm feeling, if you understand the passion, the nostalgia, if you agree with what I'm saying, hit that like button and show your support.
Shill. What did I tell you, people? I told you he was desperate for views, and now you can see it clearly for yourself.
Now, for the best part. I'm gonna show you how you could have written kale and cauliflower in a way that we would have welcomed them, in a way that we would have accepted them for who they are.
Oh really? The sexist pig is going to tell us how to write female characters? This will be interesting.
Kale and Cauliflower, in this tournament, realistically in this series, they wouldn't know about Super Saiyan. If they knew anything about it, it was from Kaba, who, by the way, I don't accept him turning into a Super Saiyan. I don't care. I thought that was stupid too. They wouldn't know about Super Saiyan. They wouldn't know how to do it. Cauliflower enters the ring before Kale, and Kale would watch her fight and support her from the side. Eventually, because of her limitations of being a basic Saiyan, she gets overwhelmed and beaten and thrown around like a rag doll.
This is already ridiculous. Kale and Cauliflower would absolutely wreck everyone in the ring until Goku shows up, because they are both strong independent women who can only lose to the main character, but they will push him to his absolute limit so that the audience understands that women can be just as powerful as men.
Side note, not because she's a female.
Nice try, but I'm not buying your fake words.
So if your feelings are getting hurt, good!
That's another item to add to the list. I'll sum up this next part so that we can move on. Basically, he tells us that Cauliflower gets beaten to within an inch of her life. Kale goes berserk and steps into the ring before she's allowed to and beats up the guy fighting Cauliflower. But before she can land the killing blow, Zeno erases her, forcing Cauliflower to turn Super Saiyan. Well, let's continue, shall we?
That's how you write a story of a Super Saiyan! You bare minimum, low-life, money-grabbing trash! Get off your high horse!
Says the guy who thinks that his version of the story is better. I think you're the one who needs to get off his high horse. And that's all for this video. The rest is just him selling out to his subscribers and saying nothing else important. Now we can finally move on to part 2. Part number 2, his inappropriate language. So, in case it wasn't obvious from those clips that I've showed you earlier, NAPPA Rants has quite the foul vocabulary. But that's not even the worst of it. I won't play individual clips again, because this video is already long enough as is. So instead, I'll show a slideshow of pictures of his videos with text that lists out the vile words that he says. However, I will not include the 3 videos I have already shown you because it's unnecessary. I'm just shocked and appalled by this kind of attitude he has when making his videos. Like, you do realize you don't have to be so harshly critical about Super, right? Anyways, let's finally move on to part 3. Part number 3, just a straight up wanker. This is more of a summary rather than another whole part where I find more evidence of him being a terrible YouTuber. So then, let's get to summarizing. Reasons why NAPPA Rants is a straight up wanker. His comedy is terrible because he uses the easiest jokes ever. His content is unoriginal, and heavily relies on the name of Dragon Ball to get views. Begs for likes and subscribers. Has a foul vocabulary, and is a sexist. Is extremely impatient. Throws insults left and right to people that don't really deserve them. And worst of all, he's subbed to my YouTube channel. Well, that's all I have to say about NAPPA Rants. I hope this video has been a learning experience for you, and if you liked this video, then fuck off.